From Volusia to Chico, Williams Grove to Knoxville, and all dirt tracks in between and beyond. This is Winged Nation, 1 full hour of news and interviews with today's top dirt drivers. Now, your award-winning hosts for Winged Nation, Steve Post and Ashley Stremme.
Hello again, everyone. It is Winged Nation on MRN.com, talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week. We are so glad you joined us. Ashley Stremme alongside, folks. If you've been following along here on MRN, Ashley, I filled in for David on Slinging Dirt. So Ashley and I just filled in and did 1 hour of Slinging Dirt, talking dirt modifieds and late models.
That's right.
Well, Kendra is out of pocket. We'll talk to Kendra a little later in the program. So Ashley is filling in for Kendra. And where we're at right now, folks, is Ashley has had to put up with me for the last hour, and she's about ready to strangle me. So
no,
that's where we're at.
You're crazy.
And for me, this is the longest relationship I've had with a woman in more than 10 years. So we're doing. I'm all good here.
Hey, it's only been 10 years since your junior prom?
That's right, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, really. It is great. We have a great program for you coming up. Sammy Swindell going to join us. Oh, by the way, he's still winning. That's one of their little mottos, still winning. He's winning and going to the bank big. He swept the Jackson Nationals. We'll talk to Fred Rahmer about his boys. Freddie Brandon picked up the wins the last couple of weeks at Lincoln. Of course, he had the big Legends event, so Fred, a lot of good things going on. Doug Auld joins us. He is the editor of Sprint Car and Midget Magazine. We'll talk to him. And Kendra is on special assignment at Kyle Larson's Outlaw Showcase. This is his Outlaw karting event out at Cycleland Speedway in California. Kendra's out there. We'll get an on-the-scene report. Stenhouse is racing out there, and Stenhouse is pretty quick last night.
What about Rico?
I don't know. I think Rico's in there. I'm sure a
It's
race
Rico.
without Rico.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that
wait
even?
a minute. No, there was a race, so Rico was there. Yeah. All that presented by Parker Stores. So really, really cool. Ashley, great to be sitting here with you. And,
Always.
This is your home track. We talk about the Speed Palace. This is a huge week up there. Of course, they had Saturday night racing. Of course, the fair is ongoing. The Labor Day Fair Classic, which my understanding was a spectacular race, and then we're building up to the Tuscarora 50, and you're headed that way.
I am. I'm so excited. I can't wait. Fair food, the 50. Life is good. Life is good.
Dog.
I'll be sure. I might be a diabetic by the time I get back from the fair. Baby cakes, fresh cut fries, everything that's.
Joked around with people yesterday. We do the hashtag tweet your seat and tweet your eats. That's what it's going to be.
Don't you worry. I'll be all over that.
Yeah, so, going to be big. Going to be really big. Before we get to that, though, let's talk about the Velcro Racing Wheels results page. Of course, Velcro Racing Wheels, made by racers for racers. World of Outlaws, Skagit got rained out on Friday. Shane Stewart won on Saturday. And last night, Monday night, Grays Harbor Raceway, Donnie Schatz, his 200th career World of Outlaw win.
Insane.
Absolutely amazing. Oh, by the way, his 27th of the season, which is his personal best.
I was just going to say, isn't that a PR for him?
Yeah.
Insane. And I have to mention this. Chris Dolak tweeted earlier today, since it's Schatz' 27th win, does that put him in the Sprint Cup chase? I think so.
They don't want him in NASCAR because he'd ruin the chase, too. Yeah. Yeah, he just.
Damn you, Donnie Schatz would go to a whole new level.
As we say in the South, he ruins everything. He really does. He just is. Schatz is an animal, and I'm telling you what, I'm not in the ruins everything. I'm in the jaw dropping to the floor and just watching.
Impressed.
We are going to 10, 15, 20 years from now, we're going to say, man, you want to talk about good. You should have seen Schatz wheel one of those cars.
You remember when?
That's right. He is one of those. This is one of those remember when sort of times. So
history books.
I know. Sit back, enjoy it, folks. He may be coming into your neighborhood and taking the money from all your favorite drivers. I get it, but what we're seeing is magical. It really is. All-Star Circuit of Champions. They were in Ohio for 3 races. Cody Darrow won on Friday night at Attica. Sheldon Hodenshield won Saturday night at Attica, and Sheldon came back and won at Wayne County Speedway in Orrville, Ohio. Great weekend for Sheldon. Sheldon going to join us on Wing Nation Weekend, presented by Hefner Racing Products, coming up later this week. National Sprint League. Wow. Jackson Nationals. Talked to Todd Quering last week. This is one of those that is growing in stature, growing in stature. And the big ones are won by the big guys. And Sammy Swindell, yes, indeed, $25,000. He won on Friday night over Brownie and Ian Madsen. Saturday night, it was Sammy Swindell over Craig Delansky and Danny Lasowski.
And a new track record, right?
Absolutely. And we'll talk to Sammy a little bit later on about that. But amazing. Sunday night National Sprint League was Brian Brown picking up the win at Houston, so good to see Brownie get back in victory lane. MOA Series, Brad Lowett won a couple races. IRA, it was Ben Schmidt. Weekly Racing, Aaron Ott won at Williams Grove. Cole Duncan won at Atomic Speedway. Freddie Rahmer, wow. Okay, winning your first race is spectacular. Okay, and when Freddie describes winning his first race, I passed a Monteith and 2 Dietrichs in the last lap. Holy mackerel. Unbelievable. Freddie, we had hoped to talk to Freddie, but college. You know how that is with mom and dad.
That stuff's important.
Yeah, it's more important
you
than talking
to make A's and B's before you can sit in a race car.
More important than talking to us knuckleheads. So Freddie is not available. We're going to talk to Fred about his boys winning, how special this is, because Brandon won last week. And, of course,
and he passed a Dietrich and a Monteith as well.
Yeah, you know, I mean, these kids, it was a matter. We had Stevie Smith on 2 weeks, and we said something about it, and he said, I don't know how much longer Fred's going to give me the ride because those boys are coming along really well. Stevie was a prophet on that one because those boys are wheeling it. Dave Ely won on Saturday night at Port. That's a cool story.
Super excited about that.
Yep. Corey Haas won at Williams Grove on Sunday, and Monday, this shocks me. It doesn't shock me that Brent Marks wins. That cat can wheel a car with the best of them. It shocks me that we've gone all year before the son of a gun won a race.
And how he did it in style.
Oh, yeah. I'm watching Race Monitor. I'm sitting at home watching Race Monitor, and I love my Race Monitor. And it's like I'm watching, and it's like, okay, Dylan and this, and then it's like the next lap. It's like, wait a minute, the guy that's third's first. What's going on? I'm tapping that thing down. Hit refresh. It's like, turning it upside down. I'm doing all this. Last lap, past 2 cars, Brent Marks.
And that's unheard of for the Labor Day Classic.
Well, it's a midday show and everything like that. But
it's always a Dust Bowl.
Again, a common theme. What Steve O'Neill has going on at Port Royal is pretty special. Really amazing. It really is. So there's your Velcro Reels race results made by racers for racers. You can find out more from them at www.vahl.co. We're at such a great spot in sprint car racing. Oh, by the way, I want to mention also coming up on MAV TV this weekend, Wayne Johnson going to join us because the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour gets back in action as well. So lots going on in the sprint car world. World of Outlaws are out west. They start moving east because all dirt roads lead to Charlotte.
That's right.
Indeed. So
I love it. Well, I got to throw out there just some Pennsylvania news. I don't know if you saw that Susquehanna Speedway has been bought.
Yeah. How about that? Now, who bought it? What's the deal in that?
Scott Gobrek. He bought it from the Fishers. He had actually bought their radio show that they have a while back, and now he's acquired the racetrack.
Cool.
So I think he'll do well. I mean, Susquehanna's always been run well. I'm not trying to throw the Fishers under the bus by no means. They do an excellent job out there. But knowing Gobrek and his history in the sport, I think you'll continue to see that track do some cool things.
I knew Todd and Rhonda when they were down here. Todd worked with the Legends Series, ISC, and Rhonda and I actually worked for the same agency. So I worked in the same office with Rhonda. And I was really happy to see them live their dream out by running a racetrack. And they did it, and they did it well. And they had a good run. And but just in reading the press release, running a racetrack is a brutal business, and it's great.
Everyone
to go live
thinks
your dream.
It's easy.
It's great to go live your dream, but sometimes your dream will make you tired.
That's exactly right.
And so it sounds like it's all in good hands, and everything is good. And what did we just read here just a second ago? This week is the Tuscarora 50, and what did I read? Todd Schaefer is going to run the Middlesworth car. You're all fired up about that.
The only way it could be better if it was Hartley's. That's just because I'm a
Hartley chip girl. Yes.
But I am excited. I am super excited to see that Middlesworth car back out. And they couldn't have picked a better driver than Todd Schaefer. I've loved watching that man ever since I was a little girl. Mr. Excitement, him and his wife Allison and their daughter Celine. Great people. I'm excited to see this Saturday night.
Great times.
Especially because he won the race, the Legends race.
I know, man. What a race that was. What a show that was. So great stuff, that's for sure. Hey, we need to step away. When we come back, we are talking to royalty, Sammy Swindell. He's still winning, and he joins us next.
This is Tony Stewart. Kendra and Steve will be right back with more Wing Nation here on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Racers, that's who Valco wheels are. That's who they know, and racing is what they know. Velcro Wheels focuses oval track and grassroots racing and understand racers need a quality wheel that fits your budget. With over 25 years experience, Velcro Wheels produces the best product and give you face-to-face support and customer service at the track. Fast delivery, innovative products, problem solving. Find Velcro Wheels at Velcro.com on Twitter or Facebook, or call Velcro Wheels at 609-758-7013. Velcro Wheels.
Hi, I'm NASCAR driver Jeff Gordon. Did you know that 43 children are diagnosed with cancer each and every day? That more children die from cancer than any other disease. Athletes of all ages are dedicating their stats to change these stats, and you can too. Visit JeffGordonChildren'sFoundation.org to become a Kick It champion. No matter what your sport, you can use your points, laps, or goals to change the odds for kids with cancer. Make your stats really count. Become a Kick It champion.
This is Winged Nation. Here's Steve Post and Ashley Stremme.
The sprint car world was a buzz this past weekend because Sammy Swindell is still winning, and it was a big one. It was the Jackson Nationals up at Jackson Speedway in Minnesota, $25,000 Saturday night. Of course, preliminary night on Friday night, and joining us is the champion of the Jackson Nationals, Sammy Swindell's on the line. Hello, Sammy. Welcome back to the show.
Oh, thanks. It's nice to be able to be back on here.
Well, congratulations on that win, Sammy. Every driver wants to get themselves in a spot where they're going out and winning big races. Looks like you've got a pretty good situation that puts you in that spot to be able to do that, not only this past weekend, but as you continue to move forward as well.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that was kind of the reason for all this coming together, for me. But first, I'd like to just thank all the fans and media and just everyone that's done things or sent cards or, whatever for Kevin. I mean, it means a lot to him right now, and it's just been great to have all the support from everyone.
I know you guys are, it's very personal, obviously. How is Kevin doing?
Well, it's going to be slow. They're saying 3 to 6 months before the swelling goes down in his spinal cord, and could be up to 2 years before you really know exactly what you have. Things could happen the next day or so, or the next week, but that's the hard part is they can't put a number on it. That you're going to be this way in this amount of time because everybody's different with these kind of injuries.
Well, it's so true. And, I follow Kevin on Twitter a little bit, and I love it. The fact that he's hashtagging swinning. It's so cool that, he's proud of what you're doing and the fact that you're out there and you come away with big wins like this. I read that you had said that this win was quote unquote easy. You said you showed up, you didn't have to make a whole lot of adjustments. How many times has a weekend like this happened in your entire race career?
Not a lot. I mean, there has been a few times when you get your car good and the track's real consistent, so you don't really have to change if you're that good. I mean, after the heat race on Friday night, I come in and told the guys, I said, now I'm just totally confused. And they said, well, what do you mean? I just won the heat race from 6. I said, I don't know what to do to make it any better. So it was just that kind of way. But I mean, it was a bit of a stretch for us to get there. I mean, we're working out of a pickup truck and a 28-foot trailer with no tools, and had a couple things in it. But I had a good friend, Clint Garner, and he brought his brother and his crew guys and his trailer and all his stuff for us to use up there. I mean, then we get there and we didn't have the right headers that we needed for the motor that they had, so we had to borrow that. And then you had to go in the infield for the qualifying the race and stuff. So somebody let us borrow a mule to take tires and things in. So that just all that makes it extra special. And it was just fortunate that we didn't have any issues, and it made it easy. Even as difficult as it could have been, it was just really easy.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And that is kind of special because it's just to go up there. Because now you're working on, the goal is you're assembling this second team for CJB. You've had a second team in place, but it was traveling with the World of Outlaw Tours. But in essence, this new situation that you have, that you started with them, this is going to kind of have to be a separate entity because it's not going to be traveling alongside of Paul McMahon's team. So you guys are really kind of piecing this thing together now. Is that accurate?
Yeah, well, that was the plan. I mean, when we first did it, it was going to be, okay, well, we'll do it, just when that trailer, through that trailer.
Yeah.
And all we need to do is get the car and a couple of spare wings and a couple of pieces down the road. So that's what we had. Well, everything got kind of escalated a little bit when Todd Queering and Big Game came on for next year, and he wanted, his race was there at Jackson, and he wanted to kind of unveil that, do some things. So it was like, okay, well, I'll talk, and I think I can, I think I can get something that we can work with, and it all worked out, and you gotta thank the Garners for that. I mean, they just came and helped, and I mean, we had like a full crew.
I love it. Back in the day, I remember even guys to this very day that roll in their open trailers. Does it make it that much more special to know that this deal's been pieced together and pull off a feat like you did this weekend?
Well, I think so. I think so. It showed we overcame a lot. I was doing some things, and I had to talk with Barry Jackson, because he'd been kind of handling, more or less everything. It was just, we would discuss things and then make decisions, and they would do all the work. Well, this past weekend, I had to kind of step back in and do the fueling and make the decisions, more like I used to. So it was like, it was a little bit tough, just, because you're out of sync a little bit, and then not knowing. But I mean, he had good notes. He sent me notes, sent me things. We sat down there before and just went over everything. Okay, well, do this or do this, and it worked out. But that's a part of being in this team is having the equipment and having the support. So that was the reason, why this came about for me, and the reason I chose to do it. And, even after Kevin got, we had to think there a few days, is this the right thing to do? And Amy and I, we all thought that, staying with this and that he's going to be better by then. And so, we plan on him being up, and hopefully he's walking, and we can just continue on. But this is what we've done, and, as a family, so we need to keep trying to keep doing that as a family.
No doubt. I mean, it's amazing, and being a racing family, understanding that winning is just so important. It really is, from a morale standpoint, from a motivational standpoint, and everything. It is just so sweet, so cool. Sammy, my final question for you here on this, and you've talked a lot about Barry Jackson, and Barry, of course, runs the CJB team. And when I think of intense, smart guys, I think of Sammy Swindell and I think of Barry Jackson, are two of probably the top 3 or top 5 in my mind. Had you and Barry's paths crossed much in the past, or is this something that's new?
Well, we did work together, back when I was driving a TMC car for a little bit.
Okay.
And he had some personal issues that he needed to go back home. So, he didn't want to leave, but it was just, it's just part of life. That at that time it wasn't good for us, and we've talked over the years, and he's even came. So, I feel like I kind of ran out on you there, and I think he wanted to work with me. So it's just it fell together. I mean, and I couldn't. At this point, I couldn't ask for anything better. I mean, I would have loved to have this 20 years ago.
Man, 20 years ago, we'd have rewritten. We're still going to rewrite some record books. I'm pretty confident in that. But, Sammy, congratulations on the win. Give our best, certainly, to Kevin, and our best, really, to you and to Amy and to everyone as you guys go through this. Our prayers are with you. Our thoughts are with you as well. But congratulations on that win. It's so cool to see you in victory lane scoring wins. Still winning is kind of the motto. And thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
Yeah, thanks. And just want to thank everybody again, and just try to keep praying and supporting Kevin. I mean, it's been awesome so far.
For sure. Thanks, Sammy.
Thank you.
There we go. The legendary Sammy Swindell joining us here on the program.
It's really cool, just to touch a little bit on what Sammy said about, we are a big family.
Sure.
It doesn't matter what it is. If it's sprint cars, modifieds, we gather around a family when they're in need. And the stuff that's happened in the last few weeks that people have done for Kevin, donating helmets, all kinds of stuff. And this weekend with the silent auction, they raised $13,000, and the National Sprint Car League matched it and went above with $30,000. It's truly impressive. And this weekend, Plymouth Speedway, they're having the Bulldog Strong 30. And what I think is really unique about that is Irish Saunders, he actually runs Plymouth a little bit. And his son, Eric, is also paralyzed from a motocross accident several years ago. And he's actually back into like a micro, not a micro, but it's a 600 sprint.
Right.
And he's running with hand controls. So, no matter what, it's awesome what you can do and what people are doing for the Swindells.
The thing to me is amazing is the outreach, the outpouring for Kevin has been phenomenal. There's no denying that. And really not surprised because we know how the family is. Sammy, I can't imagine the last month of Sammy's life and how challenging and difficult this is.
Absolutely.
And yet to have this huge opportunity out here to continue to do what you love, what your passion is. And we all know he loves going to the racetrack, but face it, he's a race car driver. He's a Hall of Fame race car driver. If you're going to go to the track, you might as well win.
Yep, that's right.
And he did it at Jackson and swept the weekend. So congratulations to Sammy. Thoughts and prayers with Kevin as we continue on. We need to step away. When we come back, another Hall of Famer, Fred Rahmer, joins us next.
This is Winged Nation on MRN.com. We'll be back talking more dirt with Steve and Kendra right after this.
The new standard in race car screen printing and embroidery, Classic Ink USA. Full custom race car track swag apparel, quality customer service, and the industry's finest graphic designers, assuring quick turnaround and the highest customer satisfaction. See the latest designs at ClassicInkUSA.com, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, or call us 724-482-6224. Serving racers and their teams, all divisions, all over the world. Classic Ink USA, at the track and on your back.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
This is Winged Nation. Here's Steve Post and Ashley Stremme.
Welcome back, everyone. Having a great time here. We are so glad you joined us. Joining us now has to be probably one of the proudest papas on the planet. Right. After the last couple weeks at Lincoln, Brandon picked up the win a couple weeks ago. Freddie, in spectacular fashion on Saturday night, scored the victory. Fred Rahmer joins us on the line. Hello, Fred. How are you?
Really good. Thanks for having me on, Steve.
What's can you describe pride and how much pride you must have right now?
Yeah, I'll tell you, he works so hard, and so does Brandon. To see him guaranteeing racing to get one, and he got lucky enough to get that and did a good job to do it. And Brandon did a great job the week before. So ecstatic, I tell you, and relieved, because it'd have been a long winter if with one of them having it and not the other, it'd have been ugly.
That was gonna be my next question, is how hard is it for you as a parent to balance both of them? And if it would have went a while, is there a lot of brother rivalry, or are they pretty loving, so to speak?
Yeah, I think they love to have rivalry is what it comes down to. So it's not easy, and with our situation, it's hard to race as much as you could. Freddie got to run the Grove again, and truthfully, because of his point average, and on Sunday, and but it's hard. I'm going to try and step it up next year so they can both run a little bit more, and we'll go from there. But it's definitely competitive. But if you don't work hard, you don't get to do it, and that's the way we do it. So we'll see how it goes.
So where were you at, and what did you see on the last lap Saturday night at Lincoln?
Oh, I was standing on the infield. I like to be by myself so people don't see what an idiot I am. And I was standing in the tower getting into one at Lincoln, and I seen Freddie sort of get, in the center down in 3 and 4, and they were 3 abreast coming down the front stretch here at the flagman, and he was in the middle. And to his credit, he was smart enough to roll out of the pedal and let them guys go flying by, and they went in there, and he was able to sneak around the bottom and come out tied with Billy Dietrich there for the lead, and did a real good job in 3 and 4. And it was really cool, to tell you the truth.
All these years racing, they've got to grow up and watch you race and win all these big races. What's it like being on the flip side of the coin, you watching your sons out there driving now?
Personally, as long as they're safe, I'm happy, but I want to see them succeed for them because they work hard at it. And truthfully, it's really hard for me. I talked to your dad, and he said the level of satisfaction you get watching your kids is way better than anything you did when you did yourself, and he's exactly right. But I'll tell you what, it is very tough for me, and I'm sure other guys deal with it different, but it's really hard for me. And to have 2 on the track at the same time is even worse, and I know a lot of people do that, Brent Kading and all that, but it's ugly. I don't know that I could take much more. I know Debbie, she was about a wreck, but it worked out well there on Saturday.
For sure, it really did. Fred, it's been an amazing 3 weeks basically for you, with Freddie's win on Friday or Saturday night, Brandon's win the week before, and then Wednesday of the week before that, it was the Legends of Central Pennsylvania event. Could you have when you envisioned the Legends event in Central Pennsylvania, did you envision it that big?
No, I really didn't. I know how important them guys were to me. They were the reason that that when you want to race in Central PA, that it meant something, and that was huge to me. But obviously, the amount of respect the fans showed for that group of competitors was absolutely overwhelming. I like I said before the race I was absolutely the biggest fan there. I had a lot to do, but it was amazing and really appreciated by me because it was such a show of respect for that group of competitors. I've never seen nothing like it in our area. I know that.
Well, I don't think it's something that's really ever been done before. I mean, you really put a stamp on something, and I believe the fans truly appreciated it. I know I did. Is that something that we can look forward to on a yearly basis with maybe different drivers fielding cars?
At this point, for me personally, I would say no. I don't know that and there's a lot of great drivers that we just couldn't bring in. You know what I mean? Because the logistics of that whole thing, to get everything lettered up and get the cars there and all that, was truly tough. But I don't think I can do it every year. Maybe every 5 years you could do it or something. But, I'm sure it's possible, but that's not something I'm looking at right now. I was so happy with the way that one turned out. I don't want to wreck how good that felt.
It was amazing. The thing, Fred, and I don't know where you were at during this. Here's the thing that I just was so impressed with, and this speaks to the respect the fans had. And you and I chatted during the course of the night that this volume of people, this number of people coming out shows respect for these drivers. It really does. But when Wayne Harper was doing the interviews with the guys on the stage or on the front stretch there during the end of it, I've never seen a grandstand in my life where people weren't just BSing among themselves and talking. But, Fred, I'm telling you, and like I said, I don't know where you went. Everybody was listening, and when Lynn Paxton said something funny, they were laughing. When people were doing things, the level of respect, the Pennsylvania fans, we get all upset at times with the Posse fans, but, man, the respect they showed just to me, not only in the volume of showing up, but just in their real desire to hear these guys talk was amazing.
Yeah, it was incredible. I tell you, between the competitors and I walked through the infield, the fans, there was so many happy faces.
Yeah.
Racing is something that you're lucky to do. And the longer you do it, the less you realize that. You become tainted, whether it's an owner that gets under your skin or whatever. But you're lucky to do it. And I was talking to some of the guys. The look they had is the look we all had when we first started doing it. They were having so much fun and realized how lucky you are to be able to get to do this. and the fans seemed to have the same appreciation, and they were all jacked up the same way the drivers were. It was just unbelievable cool for me.
It was for all of us, truthfully, and I can't imagine what was going through those guys. I'm sure they were all excited and very thankful that you brought them back to do such a thing, and it looks like you've actually brought the winner out of retirement.
Yeah, I don't know. That's not something I intended. Trust me. I talked to Todd, and I would still recommend that he get out while the getting's good. You know what I mean? That's my own impression, but everybody's got to do what they want. But I don't know. It was so neat and so cool. The lines of autographs for them guys and the amount of T-shirts they sold was truly overwhelming. I'll tell you, I would say some of them guys sold more T-shirts than some of the active drivers do. It was really neat.
I believe that, just watching the people wearing T-shirts around there. It was absolutely amazing. All right, Fred, well, time marches on. Of course, the boys are racing and winning races. You're up at it now. And what did I see, a date change for the next party at the Path, Sunday, October 18th?
Yeah, we're going to go on the 18th, and we're going to announce a little bit of a format change. We're going to make it a few more laps and pay a lot more money. And I'm going to challenge the guys from Ohio to come in here and beat them, and I'm going to pay an extra money if they can. You know what I mean? And I want them against us kind of deal, and see if we can get some of them to come in.
That would be cool. That would be cool. Well, Fred, congratulations on all the successes. Appreciate you spending some time with us here today, and just continued on. So much fun watching what's going on in your world and sharing some time with us. Thanks for the time.
Well, thanks for having me on, and hopefully someday Freddie, he was in school today or he'd have been able to do it. But very happy you called us, and very proud of the boys and what they've accomplished, and all our sponsors, still have the same sponsors now, just the next generation.
That's great. Absolutely. Thanks, Fred.
Thank you. See you later now.
There we go. That's Fred Rahmer joining us here on the Classic Ink and Screen Printing Hotline. Classic Ink, hats, shirts, and so much more. ClassicInkUSA.com. That's ClassicInkUSA.com. Just amazing what's going on in Fred's world.
I got to give him credit. He went from an entertainer behind the wheel to an entertainer on the other side of the fence, and he's doing it remarkably well.
This really boils down to sorry about that. I've been fighting this cold. Kendra and I have talked so much. The buzzword we've had over the 5 years of this is passion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it don't matter if you're wheeling those cars around the racetrack, as Fred did so successfully for so many years, or whether you're fielding cars for your sons, which Fred has done now for 2 years, or promoting races. When you do it with that level of passion, things are going to work out pretty well, and they have for Fred. He didn't get lucky with the boys. He didn't get lucky with the promotions. He didn't get lucky with it. He busts his tail because he loves what he does, and he's getting
He knows what it takes.
Absolutely.
He ultimately knows what it takes. After traveling and doing what he's done in his lifetime,
he's seen it all.
He knows what it takes.
Absolutely, and he is enshrined in the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame, as are so many others. You can find out more about the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame at SprintCarHof.com. That's SprintCarHof.com. Birthdays over the last week or so, or coming up week, Bill Rose and Bert Emick on Sunday. Jesse Hockett, who tragically we lost, his birthday was Monday. Earl Halloquist, going to talk about Earl here in just a little bit. Today's birthday, Larry Dixon and Bill Tuz. Hector Honore's birthday's tomorrow. Sammy Sessions on Thursday, one of our favorites. Hollywood Johnny Herrera's birthday's on Friday, and gosh, just love Johnny Herrera. Saturday, Tony Bettenhausen and Jimmy Murphy. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about Earl Halloquist, okay, because this is a name that has been on my radar screen for my entire life. Okay, I grew up in upstate New York. I grew up there. Okay, Earl Halloquist, or as Chris Economaki would call him, the Earl of Sydney, which was Sydney, New York, which is just outside of Binghamton, New York, okay? He was a 2000 inductee. He was an upstate New York driver after the war, which is so amazing in our generation, because everyone we talk about in this era was like, well, after he came out of the war, he did this. Like, we don't live our lives with after we come out of the war. They did back in the 40s. That's what it was after he came out of the war. Started racing sprint cars, raced URC, and this was when URC, and URC is a great club. What they're doing is fantastic. But in the 60s, URC was the big deal on the East Coast, and Earl Halloquist was the big deal in URC. 53 wins, 6 championships, and enshrined in the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. So Earl Halloquist, another one of the great enshrinees. They still have up at Afton Speedway, which is just northeast of Binghamton, they have the Earl Halloquist Memorial for the Empire Super Sprints, and they're doing a really good job remembering the name and the career of Earl Halloquist. So really
Sticking
cool
to their
stuff.
roots.
Sticking to their roots.
I love it.
Absolutely. So great stuff, that's for sure. We need to step away. When we come back, Doug Auld, editor of Sprint Car and Midget Magazine, he joins us next.
Hey, this is Jason Sides, and you're listening to Steve and Kendra on Wing Nation here on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
The American Sprint Car Series returns for its 24th year. Over 150 events across national and regional schedules, 56 cities, 16 states, and some of the sport's best like Herrera, Swindell, Haferteep, and Reitzel, along with the next generation of stars. See the full lineup of events at ASCSRacing.com. Get updates on Facebook and Twitter, and catch every Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour event live on RacingBoys.com.
When the smoke settles, the entertainment never stops.
It's a crazy place. It's easy to get lost out there.
On race weekends, your favorite NASCAR personality is an everyday superhero.
Wonder Woman at the front of the field, Danica Patrick.
But when they leave the racetrack, they're just like everyone else.
I can whistle out and in. Wait, nope, failed. Sorry.
I'm Susie Armstrong. Join me on a daily journey as we discuss the hot topics and engaging personalities of NASCAR Nation. Ned Jarrett's World of Racing, weekdays on the Motor Racing Network.
This is Winged Nation. Here's Steve Post and Ashley Stremme.
We are having more fun than two human beings should be allowed to have. We are so glad you joined us. We appreciate Sammy Swindell, Fred Rahmer joining us. A little bit later on, Kendra Jacobs going to join us from the Kyle Larson's showcase karting event out at Cycleland Speedway.
It's like mini sprint cars.
Yes, this is insane how this thing has grown. So we're going to find out how insane it is with Kendra Jacobs. Joining us right now is the editor of Sprint Car and Midget Magazine. Doug Auld is on the line. Hello, Doug. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
It's great to be here, Steve, and great to meet you, Ashley. I was expecting Kendra, but I guess she's missing in action.
Well,
right
I apologize. I am not Kendra Jacobs.
Oh,
but...
no. This is great job.
This is Doug. If you know, Joe Deal used to race at Port Royal. This is his little girl. So she gets it on us.
Okay.
Yeah, she gets it honest. Yeah, she gets it honest. She's a sprint car girl. She grew up at Port Royal, and as a matter of fact, Doug, she's headed back there for the Tuscarora 50 this week.
All right, she's one of us. Good.
She's one of us.
Oh, absolutely. I am, indeed.
One of us, and us being a good thing. Us being a good thing. Doug joins us, of course, Sprint Car and Midget Magazine. Great publication. We just love it so much when it comes out. Doug, when we look at, we're sitting here, we're at the three-quarter mark of 2015. The 410 sprint car world, I mean, I know Donnie Schatz jumps out at all of us. What he's doing is amazing. Are there some other things that jump out at you, just big picture type, overlooking this whole thing?
Yeah, overlooking the whole thing. There's just a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
You know, some of the track management. You know, what's going to happen with Skagit? That looks like there could be some exciting things there. The purchase of Susquehanna Speedway. You got the National Sprint League that launched this year. You know, you have Tony Stewart's All-Stars this year. You've got so many things happening. It seems like sometimes in racing, things just kind of roll along, and sometimes that's good. Sometimes not having controversy and weirdness is good. But, you know, we've got a lot of new things happening where you kind of get up, and we're kind of feeling like when you get up in the morning, you don't know what's going to happen that day, and that's kind of neat.
Well, that's not a bad thing, especially when you have a magazine. I'm sure there's sometimes that it's trying as to what are we going to do next week or for next month's issue, and you always have to plan, I'm assuming probably 2-3 months ahead of time for that particular month. So right now it's rolling pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, our biggest problem usually is, you know, we've got 100 pages a month, and it's what are we cutting out? You know, we try to fit in as much as possible, but yeah, there's no shortage of stories right now.
You know, Doug, the thing that amazes me, and it's like 1 week Kendra and I'll come in here and we'll be like, oh my gosh. Again, set aside Donnie Schatz. Donnie's kind of in his own stratosphere. 1 week Kendra and I'll come in here and say, oh my gosh, Hodnett, Dietrich, Blaney, Lasowski just keep winning. And the next week we come in here and say, oh my God, what about those kids? You know, like the Rahmer boys. We just talked to Fred. The Rahmer boys, AJ Flick at Lernerville, Sheldon Hodenshield, the kids out in California. My gosh, there's the kids out in California. Most of the sprint car drivers can't even grow facial hair anymore. It's like this weird. It's like this weird dynamic where we got the superstars still knocking it out, but we've got so many good young kids as well.
Yeah, and it's really that way across all of sprint car racing. I know you guys primarily cover the wing stuff, but the same thing's happening in USAC and the non-wing cars. We're seeing it's not as much like some of the old days were, where it was, you had 2 or 3 names and they just kept surfacing. There's the veterans, which I'm a big proponent. I just did another column on. The guys get better as they get older. You mentioned Donnie Schatz. He gets better every year. You see it throughout all the different kinds of motorsports you cover, Brett Hearn and the big blocks, or the guys in the late models. So we see those guys like Donnie and Sammy. You just had Sammy out. Sammy's still winning. At the same time, we are seeing a lot of these young kids who are coming in and not just surprising you with 1 or 2, but consistently knocking off some wins.
Well, I mean, you've been around. I mean, you've had Sprigget. Bless them. There's your new magazine cover. Sprigget, write that
Sprigget,
down.
I like that. Hashtag Sprigget, yeah.
Spring Car Midget magazine for a long time. You've been in this sport long before that.
Yeah.
The changes that you've seen, and you just talked about experience. Nothing beats experience. But the changes that you've seen over all these years in the sport of sprint car racing itself, do you feel we're headed in the right direction? Or are you thinking that maybe we should take a step back and look at some other avenues? Or do you think the sport's still blossoming?
The sport's still blossoming. I see an interesting thing happening. I think we're developing 2 kinds of racetracks. And we're developing, Knoxville keeps getting bigger. Eldora keeps getting bigger. And that's all good. They're making great improvements. They're doing great things. Some of the old-timers I know don't like that, and I understand that too. We're also seeing some of these smaller tracks that are being rediscovered. We just did a feature on Waynesfield here in Ohio.
Yeah.
Some of the more Saturday night type tracks. And it seems to me like in a lot of areas we're developing 2 kinds of very different entertainment. There's the experience when you go to, Steve, you were just out at the Knoxville Nationals, and it's so big. Or you can go to a little track. You can go to Hobstadt or Attica or Fremont or Waynesfield and see a Saturday night feel. And we've almost got these 2 cultures developing simultaneously. And you see a lot of the same drivers will run back and forth between those tracks. But, everything seems very healthy, especially for this economy we've got now. I don't think when everything kind of crashed in 2008, that anybody could have anticipated we'd be as healthy as we are now. We are. We've got some good car counts. Our fan counts are still good, and so I think we're doing very well.
So, yeah, I agree with you. It's just it's very interesting because you can see it all in sprint car racing, whether it's a Friday or Saturday night show or one of the big events. Doug, what's in the magazine this month? What stories do you have for folks?
Well, the one that just arrived was that Shane Stewart on the cover, and that'll make Kendra happy.
Yes, absolutely.
I know she does a lot with it. But like I said, we covered Waynesfield. We just did we don't do a whole lot of tech very often, but when we do, we try to do it right. We did a nice big piece on shocks, which are the big magic in sprint cars these days. And we also got car owner Ed Reno, actually on Kenny Jacobs, and Kendra's dad, and Best of Times, of course, our monthly fiction feature, which is just much bigger than we ever anticipated it would be. So there's another strong issue.
Another strong issue. I don't know this guy, Kevin Olson. Does that column come in like that, or do you have to edit it?
It comes in pretty much like that. Kevin's an amazing guy. He's in the Midget Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And there's guys, I don't want to say like Kevin because nobody's really like Kevin, but there's guys at racetracks that are the track cut up, the guys that joke around. The amazing thing about Kevin was he'd be the goofy, weird, wacky guy, but then he'd go out and win. And he won all the big races, and he's in the Midget Hall of Fame. And he's a unique guy. And if you haven't met Kevin, if you get a chance to spend 5 minutes with him, it's well worth it. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah, he's kind of one of those guys I read, and not coming from open wheel, not a lot of experience in the midget world. His column is one of my favorite reads, just because you just don't ever really know where you're going here. Although, it's like, it probably did happen that way. And I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, part of the problem I think readers have is figuring out what's real and what's not. That's in his column.
Indeed. Doug, how can people get the magazine? Where do they need to go to find out more information about the magazine?
Oh, online, and obviously sprintcarandmidget.com, and you can order there as well. And probably be the easiest way. I know your listenership is all online, so that would be the easiest way. Just go right to the website. Absolutely.
Doug, as always, a pleasure. We appreciate your time. Great chatting with you along the way. I love when our paths cross at the racetrack. Thanks for the time, and continued success with the magazine.
Oh, thanks, and continued success with the show as well. You guys are doing great.
Thank you. Appreciate it. That's Doug Auld joining us here, editor of Sprint Car and Midget Magazine. Again, Sprint Car and Midget. Sprigget. Exactly. Google that and see what it brings you.
Good God almighty. I've been struggling today.
I love Doug. Doug is, and I think that's the great thing about it. We come on here and we're just all like, blah, 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 blah. Doug is one of those guys.
Not us.
Yeah, Doug is one of those guys that really kind of looks at it, and he's right about this.
He is.
Because the big events are going great, but the Atticas are knocking it out too with just weekly racing. I mean, Attica, Ohio, I don't care what anyone says. Attica, Ohio, you can give me that every Friday night for the rest of my life, and I'll be happy. And there's great tracks. I'm glad they're doing something on Waynesville. And I mean, there's great tracks out there. Port Royal's just rolling and rocking and rolling. I'm excited always with what's going on at Skagit. So I love that. I really love what Doug said about we've got the big events going good, but then the weekly stuff is going well also. So really, really cool. Also going well, oh my gosh, listen to this mess. Also going well is Kyle Larson's Outlaw Showcase presented by Parker Stores, where Kendra Jacobs is being the den mother to 230 Outlaw kart teams. Kendra joins us on the program. Hello, Kendra.
Guys.
What's happening? How are you?
I am good. It's still fairly early out here in California. I'm getting used to the time change. But no, it's really good. And yesterday out at the track was just awesome.
Yeah, tell us, just give us a real overview of what Kyle's put together here.
Well, Kyle got his start in racing these Outlaw karts, and really started at Cycle Land here near Chico. So he wanted to do something and give back to that form of racing. So he and his mom and dad, Janet and Mike Larson, as many people in the sprint car community know them, sat down and worked with Lowell out here at Cycle Land and said, hey, we want to do an event right around Gold Cup like it used to be. So they started this event with the hopes of having the biggest purse, which would be about $20,000 to have the biggest ever purse in Outlaw Kart Showcase or Outlaw Kart racing history. And they expected about 100 entries. Right now we're at about 260 entries. And the purse has risen to about $28,000, which shatters the record for the largest purse ever in this form of racing. So we have racers from ages 6 to 64 competing tonight at this track from like 16 different states in the country and some from Canada. So going to be a really big night of racing tonight.
That's really awesome to hear that many people have showed up for this, and the fact that Kyle's giving back to where his grassroots were, so to speak. Is there a way that we can watch this online tonight, Kendra?
Yeah, actually there is. It's called Fast4, spelled out, F-O-U-R, fast4media.org. It's actually this kid, Kyler Shaw, is 17, and put together this live streaming company. And apparently it went off really well last night. I didn't get a chance to watch it because I was at the track. But it will start airing at 5 p.m. Pacific time, I believe. 5 p.m. Eastern time tonight, fast4media.org. There is a small cost for the pay-per-view, but it will be worth it to see these guys. I mean, you've got Kyle Larson and Ricky Stenhouse racing. And then the Outlaw guys are flying in today. Shane Stewart, David Gravel, Brad Sweet, Rico Avery's out here. Going to be a really, really, really good race to see who can top these guys. And actually, there's a female racer out here named Holly Shelton who's been winning just about every weekend at Cycle Land. And a couple weeks ago when Kyle and Ricky came out here to try their hand to get some testing on some laps under the belt, Holly beat both of them. So going to be interesting to watch and see if she could do that tonight too.
Awesome.
That is just going to be great. That really, really is. Again, it's Fast4 Media. That's 4 spelled out, Fast4 Media. If you want to check out the Kyle Larson Outlaw Showcase tonight out at Cycle Land. Kendra, I know it's early morning out there, and I know you've got a long day. We appreciate you taking a few moments and checking in with us here, and we'll look forward to seeing you down the road. But have fun out there tonight. Tell everyone, give everyone our best, and have fun.
I will, and Steve, I'll think of you this weekend when I'm at Gold Cup at Chico.
So wait a minute. Wait 1 minute now.
If he could reach through the computer screen right now, Ken, or through the microphone.
Yeah, I've got one arm strangling you, Kendra, at Gold Cup, and one arm strangling Ashley, who's going to the Tuscarora 50.
Oh.
You women are killing me here. You ladies are killing me.
I'm excited. This is my first time ever at Gold Cup, ever, which is crazy. So I am pumped up and ready to get out to the fairground. It's going to be an awesome, awesome race.
Oh, and by the way, Kendra, one other piece of business here. Our Kick-It Driver of the Week, you know who we're going to give that to? Unless you have a better idea. Do you have any ideas on this? Because you and I didn't talk. Okay, no, I'm going to give it to.
We did.
You know what I'm going to do? Kyle Larson for giving the kids a chance to race in this event tonight. So Kyle Larson,
That
our
is
Kick It
awesome.
Driver of the Week. Yes, indeed. How about that? There we go.
It was cool. These little kids last night kept kind of following him around and just staring at him. And it's like, he was one of them. He was one of them just not
that's
too long
great.
ago, and he made it. So really cool to watch the kids just kind of idolize him out here.
Absolutely.
That
That
is
is great
cool.
stuff. So Kyle Larson is our Kick It Driver of the Week. And Kendra, enjoy your stay out there, and we'll look forward to chatting down the road. But thanks for your time joining us here today.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
There we go. That's Kendra Jacobs joining us here. Man, that's an exciting event they're going to have out there.
I think it's so cool that he is remembering where he came from.
Right.
And really giving back and doing something cool.
Listening
Exactly
to Kendra talk about
like
the little
this.
kids following him around,
I
that is
know.
so
Oh my
cool.
God, look at
He's
Kyle
not all much
Larson.
bigger than the kids, I mean, geez, gosh. So, hey, stay with us. We've got more Wing Nation in just a moment.
I'm Danny Holcraver, and you're listening to Wing Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville, Iowa. Your destination for sprint car history. Check out the Salute to Champion Doug Wolfgang exhibit, featuring 5 of Doug's sprint cars, all 5 of his winning Knoxville Nationals trophies, as well as helmets, uniforms, and other Wolfgang memorabilia. Also, check out Damian Gardner's world's fastest sprint car that the Demon drove at 211 miles per hour at Bonneville. Open 7 days a week all year in the sprint car capital of the world, Knoxville, Iowa. The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum.
Already dreading the thought of the off-season and winter? Head down under with Down Under Racing Tours. Don't be stuck in the cold and snow when you could experience the best sprint car racing in Australia, such as the Classic, World Series Speedway, King's Challenge, President's Cup, and the Australian title with Down Under Racing Tours. Owned and operated by an Australian who knows racing down under. Visit downunderracingtours.com or call 717-364-2576. Down Under Racing Tours for a racing experience of a lifetime.
This is Winged Nation. Here's Steve Post and Ashley Stremme.
Oh, we are having so much fun, folks. So much going on in the sprint car world. It really is exciting. Need to cover a couple of bases for us. Good to have our friends, the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour, back in action this week, Saturday night, September 12th. Texas Motor Speedway. Racing Boys has all the action there, but it's been a couple of weeks. They haven't raced since the 360 Nationals. So everyone there is chomping at the bit and ready to go. So the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour back in action this week. I also want to mention a Hercules driver. Yes, Greg Wilson driving that Hercules tire car. He will be back in action this weekend where you're going to be. He is going to be in action at Port Royal Speedway for the Tuscarora 50 weekend, Friday night, the night before the night before the 50, and then Saturday night, Port Royal for the Tuscarora 50. Now, every time I haven't been on the webpage this morning, but every time I go on the webpage, there's more money. I think they're up to like $13,000 to win or something like this. This thing is just really evolving with the UNOH All-Star Circuit of Champions. Really cool event. So, going to be good. Going to be good. Let's see. World of Outlaws midweek racing Wednesday night, Cottage Grove Speedway. This weekend, it's the Gold Cup, as Kendra talked about. Silver Dollar on Friday, Saturday. Antioch on Sunday. National Sprint League, they're in Eagle, Nebraska on Friday night. Cedar Lake Speedway on Saturday. MOA is in Jacksonville, Illinois on Friday night. IRA, man, they're still going in Wisconsin. It's got to be cold up there.
You think?
It's getting there. Amsoil Speedway in Superior, Wisconsin, and Cedar Lake Speedway. Weekly racing, River City, Skyline Speedway, Butler, Fremont, Ohio Valley Speedway, River Cities is going to race on Saturday, also St. Francis, and Sunday at Huset's. But what's interesting about Pennsylvania is that you noticed in our weekly racing action a rare weekend where Williams Grove and Lincoln are not racing, everyone yielding to Port Royal this weekend. And that's why Pennsylvania just seems to have it going together is, you know, they're while Port and Lincoln race against each other much of the season, there's a couple of times a year they'll yield to the other. And that's what makes that thing so viable and so strong up there. It's really cool.
And truthfully, it took a little bit for that to actually.
I'm sure it did.
You know, I remember back in the day when that wasn't the case,
Right.
and it was kind of like, well, I'm having a race, well, I'm going to have a race.
Yeah.
And I think that it's really helped the growth of Central Sprint Car Racing for the fact that they are all working together,
You know,
and what they're doing, trying to.
Exactly. And face it, there's Lincoln cars and there are Port cars.
Absolutely.
And when that happens, they get a night off. There are cars at Lincoln that are never going to go anywhere other than Lincoln.
Exactly right.
And there are cars at Port that are never going to go anywhere other than Port, and that's fine. the thing of it is what this allows those guys that do want to travel or do want to try something different to go do it. And that show on Saturday night at Tuscarora 50 is just going to be a zoo up there. That's going to be insane.
I love it. I remember going there all my life, and the Tuscarora 50 was the one race that you looked forward to because the after party was always so much fun. You always went out to the cow barns, good lordy, and there's a DJ, and it's always just a good time, and it's just... It's home. I can't explain it. The fair, the food, racing.
So tweet your seats and tweet your eats.
I will.
Oh, I know you will.
I'll be sharing them.
Yeah,
you know it. I'm going to be a diabetic when I get back.
Yeah, you too. I'll tell you what. This weekend on Wing Nation Weekend, presented by Hefner Racing Products, we're going to talk more about the Tuscarora 50 with the hottest driver in the All-Star circuit, Sheldon Hodenshield, going to join us. So looking forward to that. And Wing Nation on MAV TV, Wayne Johnson going to join us to talk about that Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour race at Texas Motor Speedway and all things Wayne Johnson. So really, really big weekend upcoming and a big weekend as well of the sprint car world. You know, Ashley, the funny thing of it is we joked around a little earlier, all dirt roads lead to Charlotte. That's a great motto, but there's a little bit of sadness to it because as we start to go further and further into September, the upcoming races page is getting fewer and fewer and shorter. So we're getting to that point where it's time to start to button up some of these places, and that's not fun.
It's not because, speaking of the Tuscarora 50, it was always the last race of the year for Port.
Right.
That is not the case anymore. The World of Outlaws come in the October 24th or 25th.
Something like that, yeah.
I don't know. I need to know that date because the modifieds are actually racing there. David will be wheeling a car around Port Royal Speedway. Yeah.
So your hubby's going to race Port Royal.
He is, yes. The same weekend of the World of Outlaws. I'm a little nervous. It'll be the first time back in the pits at Port Royal as a competitor.
Right.
So that'll be interesting to say the least.
That'll be cool. That'll be really, really cool. So all things are good. And but you get fair food and everything else this week too. Yeah.
I'm excited.
See how you are. Now David's out in Boone.
He's in Iowa
at that
Super
Nationals.
Yeah. He's actually out there with a customer of ours right now. Just taking it all in.
You guys, we had David. David joined us on Slinging Dirt. I'm telling you what, you want to talk about someone that has transitioned to dirt track racing.
Yes, he's
a
dirt racer.
We couldn't get him to shut up.
No,
couldn't get him.
Now, we still park in the back 40 when we're at the dirt track because he still has a little asphalt in him and he doesn't like dirt in his trailer. But otherwise, I'm pretty sure we've converted him to a full-fledged dirt racer.
He's just ate up with it, which is really cool. I mean, it's just been so much fun as I've gotten to know you two over the last year, a couple years, just to see his evolution. Because when I first met him, he was that pavement guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, now look at him. Now
we're selling all our pavement cars.
That's right. Now he's stepped up to notches. Unbelievable. So really, really cool. Great chatting with Sammy Swindell.
It was.
And
truly.
Just so amazing, the outpouring for Kevin. And it's such a dynamic with we know the struggle on the front of Kevin, and yet Sammy, here he is just out here
doing what he's always ever known to do.
Exactly. And that story about their team. Oh, yeah, we didn't even know how to get tires in the infield. That's really, really cool. So thanks to Sammy for joining us. Fred Rahmer, Doug Auld, Kendra Jacobs, thank you for joining us as well. Absolutely. There you have it. We'll be on Twitter at Wing Nation all week long. Thanks for joining us.
You've been listening to the nation's premier winged sprint car radio program, Winged Nation. Tune in next Tuesday at noon for more talk from the dirt tracks. Winged Nation is also available on demand in the MRN.com Media Center or download from iTunes or Stitcher. Winged Nation is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.